You used AI at least 10 times today. Your phone's autocorrect, your email's spam filter, Netflix recommendations, Google search, your car's navigation, Instagram's explore page, face unlock, voice assistant, YouTube's algorithm deciding what video you watch next. All AI, all running constantly, most of it invisible. But here's what nobody explains. How does it actually work? What's a neural network? What does training mean? Why does ChatGPT cost $700,000 per day to run? Who's making billions from this? And what can AI actually do versus what's just hype? This is AI Explained, not the history lesson, not the sci-fi predictions. The actual technology, the real business, the current capabilities and limitations, 20 minutes or less, everything you need to understand the AI economy and how it affects you. Let's start with the basics. AI is pattern recognition, statistical prediction. That's it. You give an AI system millions of examples. It finds patterns. Then it uses those patterns to make predictions on new data. Your spam filter, trained on millions of emails. Learned patterns. Free money equals spam. Meeting notes attached equals not spam. Face unlock, trained on millions of faces. Learn patterns. These pixels arranged this way equals your face. Different arrangement equals not your face. The core technology, neural networks. Here's how they work. Imagine a network of connected nodes, like neurons in a brain. Each connection has a weight, a strength. You feed an input, numbers. The network multiplies those numbers by the weights, adds them up, passes the result to the next layer. Each layer extracts different features. First layer, edges and lines. Second layer, shapes and textures. Third layer, objects and patterns. By the final layer, the network outputs a prediction. Example, you show it a picture of a cat. First layer detects vertical lines, horizontal lines, curves. Second layer combines them into ears, whiskers, eyes. Third layer recognizes this is a cat. The magic happens in training. You show the network 10,000 cat pictures labeled cat. 10,000 dog pictures labeled dog. Initially, the network guesses randomly, wrong most of the time. But each time it's wrong, the system adjusts the weights, makes them slightly better. This is called backpropagation. After seeing millions of examples, the weights converge. The network gets good at predicting. This process, showing data, adjusting weights, repeating millions of times, is training, and it's expensive. Training GPT-4 cost over $100 million just for one training run. GPT-5 estimated $200 to $300 million in training costs alone. Why so expensive? Let's talk about scale. GPT-4 had 1+ trillion parameters. Parameters are the weights that get adjusted. Training cost, $100 million plus. GPT-5 has even more. Exact numbers undisclosed. Training cost, estimated $200 to $300 million. Processing all that data, adjusting trillions of parameters, takes thousands of GPUs running for months. Let's talk about tokens, the fundamental unit of AI text processing. When ChatGPT reads text, it breaks it into tokens. Roughly, one token equals 0.75 words. The quick brown fox equals 4 tokens. Why tokens? Because neural networks work with numbers, not words. Each token gets converted to a number. Context window. How much text the AI can remember at once. GPT-5, 2 million tokens, about 1.5 million words, multiple books at once. Claude Sonnet 4.5, 200,000 tokens, about 150,000 words. Best for coding and autonomous agents. The bigger the context window, the more expensive to run. Why? Because the attention mechanism, how the AI relates words to each other, scales quadratically. Double the context window, quadruple the computation. That's why long conversations cost more than short ones. Running costs are substantial. ChatGPT costs roughly $700,000 per day to operate. Per query, about 20 cents to 40 cents for a complex query. Multiply by millions of queries daily. Still expensive, but profitable at $20 per month for ChatGPT Plus and $200 per month for Pro. Here's what most people don't understand about training. Once a model is trained, it doesn't learn anymore. ChatGPT doesn't learn from your conversations. It's frozen. The weights don't change. When you correct it, when you teach it something new in a conversation, it only remembers for that conversation. The context window. Once the conversation ends, it forgets. The base model stays the same. You could spend an hour teaching it about your job. Next conversation, it has no idea who you are. Fresh start, every time. To actually improve the model, OpenAI needs to train a new version. GPT-4 to GPT-4.5 to GPT-5. Each version requires a new training run, new data, new compute, months of work. This is why AI can't really learn in real time. Not yet. Now let's talk money. Who's actually making billions from AI? Start with NVIDIA. Market cap, $3 trillion. That's more than Apple or Microsoft. They make the GPUs that train AI. 92% market share. Total dominance. Their H100 chips cost $30,000 to $40,000 each. 6-month wait lists. Companies buy thousands at a time. Training one large AI model requires 10,000 to 25,000 GPUs. That's $300 million to $1 billion just in hardware. Before you add data centers, electricity, cooling, engineers. NVIDIA's revenue jumped from $27 billion in 2022 to $130 billion in 2025. AI demand, pure AI demand. Next, OpenAI. Revenue, over $10 billion annually as of 2025. ChatGPT has 800 million weekly active users, 115 million daily active users. ChatGPT Plus costs $20 per month. About 10 million paying subscribers. That's $200 million monthly revenue just from subscriptions, plus API usage, plus enterprise deals. But here's the problem. Unit economics are bad. Most queries cost more to run than they generate in revenue. Free users are subsidized by paid users and by investor money. OpenAI raised $13 billion from Microsoft, another $6.6 billion from other investors. They're burning cash to grow. Classic startup playbook. Profitability is still unclear. Translation. Every time you use ChatGPT for free, you're being funded by venture capitalists who think someone will pay for this eventually. The cloud providers. Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, Amazon AWS. They rent GPU clusters to companies that can't afford to buy their own. $20 to $30 per hour for 8 H100 GPUs. Margins are good because they own the infrastructure. They're landlords. They always win. Microsoft invested $13 billion in OpenAI, but it's not charity. Microsoft gets exclusive cloud hosting rights. OpenAI runs on Azure. Microsoft takes a cut of every API call. Smart deal. Microsoft gets equity and revenue. Enterprise AI companies. Anthropic, Cohere, Mistral, Inflection. Anthropic raised $7.3 billion, mostly from Google and others. These companies sell AI to businesses. Enterprise contracts, higher margins than consumer products. Claude Sonnet 4.5, Anthropic's best model, competes with GPT-5 for enterprise customers. But none of these companies are profitable yet. They're all burning investor cash. The application layer, companies building on top of AI. Jasper for marketing copy, Midjourney for images, GitHub Copilot for code, Character.ai for chatbots. These companies pay foundation model companies for API access. Thin margins. They're middleware, valuable but vulnerable. Data companies, the unsung heroes. Scale AI, valued at $14 billion. They label training data, humans tagging millions of images, videos, text. This is a cat. This is not a cat. This text is toxic. This text is safe. Without labeled data, AI doesn't work. Scale AI supplies that data. Where does the revenue actually go? Breakdown: 50% infrastructure like NVIDIA and cloud providers. 30% foundation models like OpenAI and Anthropic. 15% applications. 5% data and services. Money concentrates at the infrastructure layer. NVIDIA and cloud providers print money. Everyone else fights for scraps or burns investor cash hoping to get big enough to matter. The AI gold rush has a clear winner: the people selling the shovels. And the shovels cost $35,000 each. What can AI actually do? Let's be specific. Text generation, excellent. ChatGPT, Claude Sonnet 4.5. Gemini can write essays, emails, reports, code documentation, summarize entire books accurately. GPT-5's 2 million token window handles multiple books at once. Translate 100 plus languages, often better than human translators for technical content. 90 to 95% accuracy on standard benchmarks. But here's the catch: hallucinate citations 30 to 40% of the time. Ask it for sources, it'll make them up confidently. That's a problem. Image generation, shockingly good. DALLE, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, can generate photorealistic images in seconds. Type a cat wearing a spacesuit on Mars and get a professional quality image. Artists use it for concept art. Designers use it for mock-ups. Marketers use it for ads. Still struggles with hands, text in images, complex scenes with multiple subjects, and copyright issues are unresolved. Who owns AI-generated art? The user? The AI company? The artists whose work trained the AI? Courts are still deciding. Image recognition, near perfect. 99% plus accuracy on standard benchmarks. Used everywhere. Medical imaging better than radiologists at detecting tumors. Airport security for threat detection. Autonomous vehicles for object recognition. But biased if training data was biased. Facial recognition worse on darker skin tones. Gender classification errors on non-binary people. These aren't hypothetical problems. They're happening now. Voice and audio. Getting good. Whisper from OpenAI transcribes speech with 95% plus accuracy. Text-to-speech sounds natural. 11 Labs can clone your voice from 30 seconds of audio. Music generation exists. Suno, Udio. Type a prompt, get a full song. Still struggles in noisy environments. Accents matter. Background noise confuses it. Video, still limited. Sora from OpenAI, Runway, Pika show impressive demos, but they're not production ready yet. Expensive, slow, inconsistent quality. Most viral AI videos are cherry-picked. The failures don't get posted. Code generation, surprisingly capable. GitHub Copilot, Cursor, Claude Code can write functioning code. 40 to 50% of code on GitHub is now AI written or AI assisted. Developers report 55% productivity increase with AI coding assistance. But AI can't architect full systems, can't debug complex logic, can't understand business requirements, can't make high-level design decisions. It's an assistant, not a replacement. Real-world applications actually being used right now. Customer service chatbots. 67% of companies use them. 30% cost savings versus human support. 24/7 availability. Fraud detection, 90 to 95% accurate. Catches patterns humans miss. Saves banks billions. Content recommendations, Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, all powered by AI. 80% of watched content comes from AI suggestions. Medical diagnosis, AI can read X-rays, MRIs, CT scans, spots patterns doctors miss, but it's still tool-assisted, not autonomous. Doctors make final calls. What AI absolutely cannot do: understand causation. It knows correlation, not cause and effect. Plan long-term. Can't think multiple steps ahead reliably. Learn in real time. Once trained, it's frozen until the next version. Explain reasoning reliably. It can generate explanations, but they're often post hoc rationalizations, not actual reasoning. Have common sense. Ask it, will a wooden ball float in water? It gets it right. Ask, will a wooden ball the size of Texas float in water? It fails. No understanding of physics. Understand physical reality. It's trained on text and images, not real-world experience. The accuracy problem is real. GPT-5 with thinking mode shows 80% fewer factual errors than previous versions. But 80% fewer errors still means errors. In creative writing, doesn't matter much. In medical advice, legal guidance, financial decisions, errors are dangerous. This is why you can't trust AI for critical decisions without verification. It's a confidence machine. It delivers wrong answers with the same certainty as right answers. No hesitation, no doubt. Just confidently incorrect. The costs and trade-offs are real. Energy consumption is massive. Training GPT-4 used 1,287 megawatt-hours of electricity. That's 552 tons of CO2, equivalent to 500 round-trip flights from New York to London. Running ChatGPT uses millions of kilowatt-hours daily. Every query you send costs electricity. Multiply by 115 million daily users. The accuracy-speed cost triangle. You can optimize 2 of 3, not all 3. Accurate and fast, expensive. That's GPT-5. Accurate and cheap, slow. That's batch processing. Fast and cheap, inaccurate. That's smaller models like GPT-4 Turbo. Every company makes this trade-off. The scale problem, diminishing returns. To improve GPT-4 to GPT-5 by 20%, you need roughly 10 times more parameters, 10 times more data, 10 times more compute. That means 10 times more cost for 20% better results. Eventually, that math stops working. Infrastructure requirements are staggering. To train a GPT-5 scale model, you need 25,000 H100 GPUs at $35,000 each. That's $875 million just in chips. Data centers to house them, cooling systems, power infrastructure, networking, engineers, data scientists, total cost over $1 billion. And that's for one training run. If it doesn't work, you start over. AI data centers are different from normal data centers. Normal server rack, 5 to 10 kilowatts. AI server rack, 30 to 100 kilowatts. That means more electricity, more cooling, more infrastructure cost. Building an AI-optimized data center costs $1 to $2 billion. Only a handful of companies can afford it. The environmental debate is heating up. AI used 100 to 150 terawatt hours in 2024, growing 50% year over year. For comparison, Bitcoin uses 150 to 200 terawatt hours. Aviation uses 4,000 terawatt hours. AI is smaller than aviation, but growing much faster. Throughput limits matter. GPT-5 can handle roughly 100,000 queries per minute globally. Sounds like a lot, but with 115 million daily users, that's tight. At peak times, rate limiting kicks in. You get the ChatGPT is at capacity message. Scaling inference is hard. Training once is expensive. Running it billions of times is expensive differently. 3 breakthroughs. Brief history. 2012. AlexNet. September 30th. One ImageNet competition. 15.3% error rate. 10.8 percentage points better than second place. Proved deep learning works. 2017. Transformer. June. Attention is all you need paper. Revolutionary architecture. 10 times faster training. Foundation for all modern AI. Cited 173,000 plus times. 2022. ChatGPT. November 30th. 1 million users in 5 days. 100 million in 2 months. Put AI in everyone's hands. That's the history. 3 moments that changed everything. Current state. November 2025. The market is massive. $758 billion in 2025. Projected to hit $3.68 trillion by 2034. 78% of companies report using AI in at least one business function. AI job market, 120% growth year over year. Median salary, $157,000 in the US. Demand massively outpaces supply. If you can build or deploy AI, you're valuable. Current best models, November 2025. Claude Sonnet 4.5 from Anthropic. Best coding model in the world. 77.2% on SWE Bench Verified, the hardest coding benchmark. Can work autonomously for 30 plus hours on complex tasks. Released September 2025. Costs $3 per million input tokens, $15 per million output tokens. GPT-5 and GPT 5.1 from OpenAI. Best overall general capability. 2 million token context window, multimodal, handles text and images, about 40 cents per complex query, O3 and O3-Pro from OpenAI, reasoning models with extended thinking time. Best for complex logic, math, science problems, slower but more accurate. Gemini 2.0 Ultra from Google. Multimodal flagship, deep integration with Google Workspace, Gmail, Drive, Docs. All roughly 90 to 95% accurate on standard benchmarks. All expensive to run. All hallucinate sometimes. Claude Sonnet 4.5 with extended thinking and GPT-5 with thinking mode show 80% fewer factual errors than previous versions. But still not perfect. Still make mistakes. The business reality, most AI companies aren't profitable yet. OpenAI, over $10 billion in revenue, but profitability unclear after massive compute costs, salaries, and R&D. Anthropic, unprofitable. Burning investor cash. Raised $7.3 billion to stay in the race. Only NVIDIA and cloud providers consistently print money. They own the infrastructure. They're the arms dealers of the AI gold rush. Everyone else is hoping to either get acquired or reach scale before the money runs out. Most won't make it. The controversies keep coming. Copyright lawsuits, artists, writers, publishers suing AI companies for training on copyrighted work without permission. OpenAI, Stability AI, Midjourney all facing lawsuits. Billions of dollars at stake. Job displacement. Goldman Sachs estimates 300 million jobs affected by AI globally. Not all replaced, but many partially automated. Writers, programmers, customer service, data entry, paralegal work, misinformation, and deepfakes. AI can generate fake news, fake images, fake videos. Election interference, fraud, identity theft, harder to trust anything online. Bias in training data. If AI trains on biased data, it produces biased outputs. Racial bias in facial recognition. Gender bias in hiring algorithms. These aren't theoretical. They're happening. Environmental cost. Massive energy consumption. Carbon footprint growing fast. Data centers competing with cities for power. Regulations are coming slowly. EU AI Act, passed in 2024. High-risk AI systems must meet safety standards. Fines up to 7% of global revenue. U.S. Executive Order, voluntary guidelines, no enforcement yet. Congress debating legislation. China requires government approval for public-facing AI. Strict content controls. Patchwork compliance. Companies still figuring it out. Regulations lag years behind technology. The verdict: AI is pattern recognition at scale. Useful but not magic. Not AGI. Not sentient. Not conscious. Good at specific tasks. Writing. Coding. Analyzing. Generating images. Recognizing patterns. Bad at understanding. Reasoning. Common sense. Long-term planning. Learning new things in real time. Most jobs won't be fully replaced. They'll be partially automated. You'll use AI tools, not be replaced by them. The biggest issue isn't the technology, it's concentration of power. OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, Anthropic. 4 companies control most AI capability. The future? Nobody knows. Models keep getting bigger. Capabilities keep improving. Costs keep rising. At some point, scaling hits limits. Data runs out. Compute becomes prohibitively expensive. Returns diminish. That might be 2026, might be 2030, might never happen if new breakthroughs emerge. But right now, in 2025, AI is useful, expensive, imperfect, and everywhere. It's not going to replace humanity. It's not going to solve all problems. But it is going to change how work gets done, how information is created, how decisions are made. The question isn't, is AI good or bad? The question is, how do we use this tool responsibly, efficiently, and equitably? That's the question we're still figuring out. And the answer will determine whether AI lives up to the hype or becomes another overpromised, underdelivered technology. Time will tell.